How ready are we, do you think, for electronic voting? Because something you're advocating. How do you think it will do as a bill or as an amendment to the Electoral Act?
Mokwe, I believe in 1969, one American president, it's a very popular one, I don't need to begin to go into that history, but he said he wanted America to go to the moon. There was nothing like that before. The Spirit of Apollo, written by one author, Dr. Newton Breman, is such that there was nothing on ground, but somebody envisioned that this thing should be possible and said, this date, I want it to happen. If you tell yourself, I want to have lunch, the entire system in your body will begin to adjust to that lunch. You will look for how to eat that lunch. If you don't have money, you call your friend. I'm hungry, I want to have lunch. You must do something. But we are so complacent and lackadaisical here. Leadership in this country cannot sit down and tell you, in the year 2030, in a commanding voice and attitude, this is where I want this country to be. It's wishy-washy. Every year we come with budget, copied. Have you seen that government since 1970-something have been the same thing? It's the same thing. That's why I said one day that a goat can govern this country. Just put him on the chair at Aso Rock. Nigerians have learned how to manage their business.
That's the reason I ask you, because you talked about how the attitudes around certain processes have not changed.
Yes.
But that's why I ask you, why do you think it will be accepted, for instance, if it was going to be an amendment?
The reason why I'm expecting that, in law, if you hold yourself out in character, you open yourself up for cross-examination on character. The president says he is running this government. His government is based on the mantra of anti-corruption. Electoral fraud is a monumental corruption. In fact, it's an institution of corruption because a lot of it ramify into every other aspect of even our own domestic existence, not to talk about the superlative level of government. So that is the expectation, that this government, should they make it its business, this government will choose a place in history for itself. Because there was an attempt to discourage people from thinking that the past government did anything. And for you to tell a woman who had just come out from divorce that all men are not the same, you must understand what she suffered under the previous man, or what she expected from the former man that he could not give. You must surpass it, delight her, such that she will begin to confess, I even thought that life started and ended with that kind of man. All men are not the same. She will write an essay on that. But if the same thing the other man did, you are not presenting a different experience. Or you begin to tell, I'll take you to the moon, but there's no attempt to buy the ticket.
Well, there are those who are gradualists. They believe that, recently INEC introduced card reader for the last elections in 2015, and then we've seen them apply that for subsequent elections. I think it was only in Ondo that we've heard very, very little complaints in terms of how the card reader was deployed. Do you think that gradualist approach is one way we can get, Nigerians to buy into the fact that
we don't have time. There's no time. In fact, the essence of division of labor, what they call both atomization of jobs, is to achieve results massively and simultaneously from every stakeholder. Even the knowledge that we have today, this is a physicist, this one is a biologist, this one is to explore nature fast. In those philosophical days, when one man became the philosopher, he was philosophizing in metaphysics, he was into this, time was not there. So to explore nature fast, there was division of knowledge. The same thing, the government has capacity for multitasking. But who do you find in positions? Some people who cannot even use internet on their phone. To be multitasking in an electronic age like this, you don't even need a secretary. Many offices now, commercial offices, don't have secretaries. The person sits down with all the gadgets Don't talk about the labor aspect of it. That's not the argument for now.
but it's a valid argument.
It's a valid argument, but if efficiency can be delivered in one area, the benefit and the synergies can be deployed in other areas. But that is a different matter, different topic for, like they say, another symposium. The point I'm making here is that we don't have time. This idea that today we have done card reader, then it will wait for the next 8 years. Maybe another person comes and says that because the card reader could not identify people, we don't trust it. They discard it. Then monumental waste in finance. Do you know we are not really in a true recession? It is bad management, and we have dollar scarcity. Some of which come from flip-flop.
Another symposium.
Another symposium. But what we are saying is that it is possible to go the whole hog. The way telecoms came in, we didn't have to wait for eternity. Yeah, but and the explosion was there.
Who should we be looking to drive this initiative?
The government. In this climate, is the government. INEC is part of government. Government appointed INEC, who is managing INEC. INEC should be peopled by those, not by virtue of age. The younger elements have shown, I mean, Chamberlain, I said this, look at you people. We know how you go, if you can't deliver what you don't have. Age sometimes is an impediment. That's why some people die of stroke, because they still think they are the young boy of 20 years ago. He wants to embark on a task. He collapses. There's no way you can cheat nature. And there's certain things you didn't learn in your formative years, and you didn't have the opportunity, not you don't have the desire. The opportunity is not there because challenges of life. Please give it out to those who time and opportunity have availed to get those things done, so that Nigeria will make progress. There's no need holding the steering when you cannot apply your legs on the throttle. The car will not move.
So last year, because we were trying to highlight and see what exactly this is about, looking at what has happened in other African countries like the Gambia and what President Goodluck Jonathan has done, we had thought that by now would have taken 8 steps ahead. But looking at rivers, it doesn't seem as if we have learned anything from those 2 examples.
That's why I'm telling you that if this government has held itself out, especially the president, but unfortunately the president is alone. Very sad. For many reasons, which may not be for this forum now. Many other of his lieutenants are not buying in, because they are still doing the old things the old way. The thinking has not changed. And it is the thought that must change. There must be a cerebral and mental reorientation before there is attitudinal change. If you want to get up, it must occur to your brain now first that you need to get up. And even if there is a danger, it is the brain that will get out from here because there is danger. If it doesn't start from here, then these ones will not do anything. That is the simple truth. So these ones are still under lethargy because this place is not working yet. I have seen many interviews you carried on with many of the operatives of government. The wishy-washy way they are talking, they are not on top of the situation. Instead, everybody is behaving like a parasitic animal, looking for how to deal on the carcass, without even minding what killed that particular animal.
Let me add this before we wrap up. What do you think will be a greatest impediment to us achieving electronic voting?
First, let us make it, the legal environment should be provided. When you have a distance to cover, and you know the distance, you begin, and the time you must cover it, you look for the means of transportation that will be suitable. But if you continue to say, I want to go to Abuja, I want to say, go to Abuja, you will never go to Abuja. But if you say, I have a meeting in Abuja by 1 o'clock, and you are still here by 11, the natural thing is that you should be thinking on how to fly, and things like that. And then which airline will not cause delays, and so on and so forth. We need to task our challenger brain, do strategic thinking in governance, not wishy-washy platitudes.
Which airline will not cause delays?
That is strategic thinking.
Simple yet difficult to answer sometimes because
governance is very simple if you come with knowledge, integrity, and purpose.
Mr. Chima Nnaji, good governance consultant. Always a pleasure to have you on this morning. Well, that's the show today. We thank you all for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain Oso.
Well, thank you for your contributions as well. I'm Maokbe Ogun.
He closed the show and it looked like Friday already. What a
I
day.
agree on that one.
Many thanks, Dr. Nnaji, and many thanks to you all. I'm Sulaiman Lede.